Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Okay, thank you, Mr. Producer. We are back, and I'm joined by the one and only Miss Katharine Manning from Southern Fried Spirituality. She's the owner over there. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm happy to see. I'm still fighting a little bit of a thing, but you'll see. I won't do anything too embarrassing, but I might be a little bit hoarse and raspy, but that makes me sexy.
Well, I know that you were an actress. Are you sure you weren't like a comedian? Did you ever do any stand-up? Have you? You did.
Once, and that should give it away. I was terrible at it. Well, they had this audition once because I lived in New York for 20 years at Catch a Rising Star. Actually, I did it twice. And the first time I was so good and everybody was, yay, and they stood up and I had this wonderful experience. And then the second time I bombed. I bombed. I mean, it was so embarrassing. It was just, I can't even tell you what it's like to stand up and nobody laughs.
It's hard.
So, wait, that was funny. But that was the same experience I had when I moved to Southern California to LA, because I'm so funny and I speak so quickly and I'd say, blah, and they'd be like, beat, beat, beat. And they looked at me like I farted or something. It's like, oh, come on. I mean, it's not, this is funny, but I think it's too much sunlight here. There's too much that goes in the top of the head, but it's not as quick and verbal.
Usually the Southern, they say is a little bit slower, but you are right out of the gate.
Well, I grew up in the South. I've just never been placed anywhere. But the thing is, my mind goes real fast, and I speak. There's no, as my husband used to say, ain't no filtration.
No filter.
No filter. He said that too because he was from Long Island. But but yeah, and that's it. And so moving here was, well, what am I going to do? I can't. They said, well, let your New York scrub off. And I said, what the F? And I still cursed way too much, but it's my charm.
Yeah. And if you can, before we get into, because there's something that's really interesting, I want to talk about this energy protocol, almost like it's a workshop, almost like a boot camp, because you've done workshops before. You've had people come in and you've taken them through. How long have they lasted in the past?
Well, I did them. I used to do workshops like every 6 weeks, and they were fantastic. I did them all on a variety of subjects I'm interested in so much, and I've trained in so much.
Yeah.
And, then COVID happened, and I haven't really done too many except on Zoom. But one of the things I was developing with my former husband, who was a corporate executive, a lawyer in a law firm, a partner, is we were going to go into, and he was the one, he ran interference, and he got me the work, and I just did all the work. Once the work happened, I would teach what I knew, because I don't teach anything I don't do. I just won't. I mean, so my body is my petri dish. So if I do something, I'm teaching it, I do it. Right. And I'm for the pudding, because I don't know. All my life I've gotten sick a lot. I just get sick, but I don't think like, oh God, I'm sick. I just get well. And sometimes I don't mind being sick because I get a break and I get to lay in bed and watch TV. So that it doesn't bother me. I don't think good, bad, yes, yin, yang, black, white. I don't think like that. It's just, I'll get well. I go to doctors. I don't see a difference between Western and Eastern medicine. I think that's all a crock. Everything is God. Everything's the same. So I take a pill, it's God. If I take a herb, it's God. It doesn't matter to me. I'll get well. So I teach I don't teach medicine, although I was once reported for prescribing medicine without a license.
Uh-oh.
I did it. I mean, I gave one of my samples of antidepressants that somebody had given me in my office. I gave it to somebody. She reported me. I went in front of the judge and he goes, did you do that? I said, yes. And he went, you just told the truth. I said, well, I did it. And he said, don't ever do it again.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, what was I going to do? Lie? I did it, but I did it. I gave it to her. And I didn't say
responsibility like that. It's awesome.
Well, I did it. And it didn't have my name on it or anything. And he said, don't do it again, but thank you for telling the truth. And he looked at the courtroom and he went, did you hear that?
That woman told the truth.
Yeah, but like, what? Good God, that was easy. I lied more during my divorce trial, which everybody lies. And that's what the judge said to do. I swear to God, she said to. But anyway, which is really troubling. But I think, so here it is. Okay.
Cracking me up.
Okay. I love that. Thanks for laughing. I like it when people laugh. I think the most direct path to God is laughter. because if you can't laugh, and there are people who are simply morose. And it's like, get out of my sight, man, because nobody's had some harder times than me. Let me tell you, I may laugh a lot, but boo hoo hoo, I could make you cry.
If you wanted to.
I can, but I'm not going to make it. I don't want to.
Right. You'd rather be happy. You'd rather be.
Yeah, but it's not just that I really am happy. It's not because I'm faking it. It's like, just get over yourself. Everybody has woes. Saint, I'm a segue, but I remember your question. I'm going to answer your question. St. John of the Cross is a wonderful Christian mystic, and he was imprisoned during the Spanish Inquisition for 2 years, and they tortured him. He was under a latrine. He couldn't lie down, he couldn't sit up, and he couldn't stand up. And that's hell. I can't imagine that agony.
That scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. Well, he coined the term dark night of the soul, because he was in consistent, perpetual agony. He couldn't die, he couldn't live. And he popped into bliss, because sometimes when suffering is so big, so intolerable, we pop to its opposite. Now, this is an extreme example, but I can tell you that having gone through 2 serious dark nights of the soul, it is a time to really study the energetic play of opposites and look into the fact that this is so intolerable. Don't quit before the miracle, because it always happens, and it always happens for the best. And I said last week, I don't have any beliefs, but I do. I believe that this is a benevolent universe. I believe that things happen for the best, not necessarily predetermined, because I don't quite understand how that fits into what I just said, but you could interpret it that way. But it just seems to be that things keep getting better and better and better. Now, that doesn't mean I'm getting more and more and more money, because I know it's easy to love God when the kids are okay, there's money in the bank, the relationship is great, my health is pristine. That's, boo, rock. But it has to be the same when my health is failing, when the relationship sucks, and I got a divorce after 24 years. I wasn't my idea. but or the kids are, one of my daughters developed a fatal cancer. This is serious, and it had to be the same, because it is the same. And you can look back and find where it was true that it was better. Now, that takes a lot of courage, but we have to be spiritual warriors. If that's one thing, that's not necessarily boot camp the first day, because people would leave in droves. So what I teach is.
Can I just clear up on one thing?
Yeah.
Ask you what you said. No matter how bad it gets, if you wait to the end of the movie, it's going to be worth it. Is that what you say?
It's going to be worth it no matter what. It's going to show you that things always happen for the best. So don't quit before the miracle, because it's going to happen, and quit whining. So I decided if I ever do a TV show, it's going to be called Quit Whining, Start Winning.
Like it.
Sounds so stupid, but I swear, shut up already, everybody. Shut up. I don't want to hear about your problems. Now, listen to me. I'm a psychotherapist.
No. I just thought about that.
Like, I developed I can listen like running a track, listen, look like I'm listening, and I'm going, ketchup, toilet paper. I swear to God.
Oh, anybody in therapy.
It's really, because people, it's really like, oh, please. And I know, as I said before, I don't suffer fools. So if you're going to do that over and over again, I'm going to say, shut up. And now what? Yeah, now what? Now move on. And what?
Right.
And
now what?
Rather leave it, they stay, but they usually stay. They almost always stay, because they don't.
True.
They don't want to keep doing that shit. Okay, so here's what I do. I say, so my father took a walk every day, and we all knew that he just did. And I think it's because he was an aristocratic Southern gentleman, and he didn't have a manner, but they all walked the manner. They were gentlemen, they walked. So I watched him, and he walked. Now, he stayed incredibly healthy into his 90s. And one day after he had his ice cream at dinner, he put his head down and died. See, that is health to me. That's like, that was thoughtful. Thanks, Daddy. You didn't make us all go crazy and suffer. You just went, darling, this ice cream's delicious. Bonk. Swear. That's a great death and a great life.
Yeah.
That is, and he never said an unkind word. He was not negative, and I never heard him curse, and he never heard me curse.
That's
I know. Well, everybody else has, but I didn't do it around him because I just adored him. And so
a good guy.
he's a very, very good man. He taught me a lot. And he taught me about walking. So let me tell you about walking. First of all, it's bullshit to think that you have to go pump. This is from Pilates, just one class a week, and I don't even do that. You can just get muscle tone. I walk half an hour a day, not with any like cardio or music. I just walk. You walk because the body has to move forward. It's not meant to keep still. You can even wiggle a lot. Like I can wiggle. Now I wiggle. I used to sit still because I was taught to sit still. I went to girls' schools, like sit still. Too hard. So now I know I can wiggle and I wiggle, but you get up and walk. If you're sitting in front of Zoom, do a lot of Zoom. I get up and move around every hour. I shake my sillies out. I do that. Or sometimes when I've really had it with somebody and they're really making me angry, I go in the bathroom and go. And then I come back in and say, no, what were you saying? I really do. And they have been told that I do that because I can't stand taking in their stuff so much, but I don't do it in front of them. And I shake out, I blow out. But anyway, the walking is important, 20 to 30 minutes a day. And
is that what your old man did? He did about a half hour?
He didn't do this. He did a half an hour every day. He walked. Yeah. He went twice a day.
That you know of.
Yeah, that I know of, but I lived with him I went to see him a lot at the end of his life because my mother had died. And oh my God, they had the best, most beautiful marriage. I mean, they were so deeply in love. And it was almost like it was an intrusion if we went to see them. Like, okay, well, we're coming for Christmas. No, you're not. No, you're not coming.
Wow.
But they were very, very, they had a beautiful, deep love and friendship for 63 years.
Awesome.
And she walked sometimes, but it was one of those marriages that worked. And, there are very few of them because my husband once said, honey, can you just take that sign off from around your neck that says man in residence? I said, I don't know if I can.
But Katharine, get back to your
okay. So anyways, I tell everybody they have to walk. And
it was his time, half hour.
People say they don't have time. And I say, yes, you do. And they say, no, I don't. I say well, then you don't come here because you do. And the reason you do is because your mind gets too stuck, mental gets too stuck. I'm not going to work with you unless you're moving forward at least once a day. And I'll know if you don't, because I see energy. And I do know, and they do. They do it. That's number one. Number two, napping. Okay. There's something in Chinese medicine that is one of the worst epidemics of all called liver qi stagnation. It's the liver's right, the liver energy. I call it liver cheese, but it's liver qi, CHI, the energy. Energy of the liver. Liver is responsible for digestion, hormones, infertility, irritability, everything. And it gets is called sticky blood. And there's a lot, we just give medicine in Western medicine for like blood thinners and everything, but it's a real condition. It's an acidic condition and it makes us icky and cranky and mucousy and phlegmy and all these things. But it's just this energy right here. And we just can go, it needs to nap. We need to nap for 20 minutes, but not sleep. Now listen, not sleep, but 20 minutes a day between the hours of 3 and 5. 3 to 5 p.m. is a time of the day when the nervous system is at its lowest. We're not getting as much oxygen in. And there's a circadian rhythm to the day, 12-hour cycle. This is called bladder time. It has nothing to do with the organ. It's just nervous system. It's why the Mediterranean cultures are so much healthier because they siesta. So what we're supposed to do, and this is what I teach, and I just taught a workshop in it, and people got a tape of my dulcet tones saying, relax now, relax this, relax that. And don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep. You're supposed to keep the Hertz levels, not beta, but alpha, not theta or delta, but alpha. And you just relax. And you're teaching yourself, at least for 100 days, and then you want to go on for the rest of your life, to simply learn to relax during those hours. Insomnia is cured, infertility is cured, hormonal menstrual difficulties, and for men, so much. I mean, it's the most amazing thing. So my dad taught me about napping because he always napped in the afternoon between those hours. I didn't know why. Now, in Silicon Valley, beside the fact that I always tell families to get ping pong tables rather than fight, and I knew about crossing over energies, Silicon Valley, for the last 15 years, has had ping pong tables and insisted that their executives nap. I did not know that. Well, am I ahead of my time, huh? Wait. So anyway, I'm sorry, I got my Pilates outfit on. I'm not very dressed appropriately, but that's okay. I think that everybody should understand that everybody has a half hour to walk and 20 minutes to nap the rest to make their health better for the rest of their life. Then there are two other things. You want to hear them?
Yes, please.
Okay. Give up sugar. It's over. No sugar, none. You can't have sugar. Sugar is a drug. It will kill you, and it's in everything. It has to go. You can't just cut it back. It's addictive. It's like alcohol, and it's in alcohol, but you have to give it up. And believe me, I have had problems with it. And for the last 2 years, I've been off of it, and I've never felt better. I don't need as much sleep. Oh, I feel so much more vital. I feel better. But I detox from, I mean, I didn't do a lot of it. I wasn't falling into Hershey bars and ice cream, but I ate this one binge food every night. It was like this digestive biscuit that I ordered from England. And I would think about it all the time. It was in every room, and I would cry. And I mean, it was a lot of emotional stuff too, because my mother's English. And I have it with my tea, and it was in my car. I mean, even the dogs were backing up when they saw me, and they would go, run if I didn't have any, because I was so awful. But the thing is, I sobbed for 2 weeks with that detox, and
No sugar at all, nothing.
none. And it has to be. It can't be an ingredient. So I read labels. It's supposed to be. I think they said the fifth ingredient. That's what I don't go to a 12-step program, but if I did, it's the fifth ingredient down. So I don't have it.
What about fruit?
Oh, fructose. See, it's not sucrose. Sucrose is an empty calorie, but fructose is a good calorie.
Okay.
Fructose is fine. I eat so much fruit. I eat 1.5 pounds of fruit a day.
Okay.
I eat a lot of food because I started losing way too much weight. So I really, really eat a lot of food. Like I eat more food than any human being. I spend too much. I eat 2.5 pounds of vegetables a day, 1.5 pounds of fruit, 1.5 pounds of protein. I just eat and eat and eat, and I still have to keep my weight up. So I guess I really needed to give up the sugar, but I never really had a weight problem. I'm real tall.
Okay.
But, yeah. So most people will lose weight because sugar is an empty calorie. And what it does to the brain, because it just is so bad, it tells the brain you're not getting fed. So next thing you put in your body stores fat because you're going into shock. So store, even if it's a piece of meat, a piece of fish, store it as fat because it's the only thing that'll keep you from dying. So you eat sugar, or even the stuff, I love this. The retailers have said, here's sugar-free. This is for you. That's even worse.
What do you mean with those chemicals, you mean?
The chemicals, and it's empty calories. So it's saying you'll go into shock and you're going to get gunky. That cracks me up. It's all, no.
So, I mean, soda's horrible. I know
horrible.
Sugar, but diet soda is just as bad?
Well, diet soda, that'll rot your bones. That's phenylalanine. So that'll make your brain demented. And I used to drink a little bit of that, but I notice, because I'm sensitive now, if I have a Diet Coke, which I really like them, I can't think of my words the next day. I can't find my words. And I have problems with that anyway, because I talk so fast. But I mean, I've had that for a long time, and I'm kind of old, but not that old. But the thing is, if I have a diet soda or too much of that stuff with chemicals in it, the next day I go, I know your name. Don't tell me. I know your name. It starts with a K, but I don't know. And swear to you, that happens that fast.
Brain fog thing, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not just, but it's also, it's like a little bit of well, that's what Alzheimer's is. Just face it. I studied it. It's all that the chemicals, it's the tin, it's the metals, it's such. So if you're going to have a Coca-Cola, have the sugar. Because first of all, you're killing your bones with phosphoric acid. You're killing that anyway. So go ahead and do that. But so what I say is, if you're going to do it, know the consequences, because I do it all sometimes. Because whatever has a front has a back. The bigger the front, the bigger the back.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do it, do it.
So you mostly like just the water with?
No, I drink iced tea because I'm Southern. I drink iced tea. I drink tons of caffeine. Can you tell?
Okay.
So much black tea, iced tea.
All right. Is green tea good? Is green tea good?
Oh yeah. See, tea is okay for the bones because the certain tannins are okay as bone See, people do go, oh, caffeine's so bad. It's so acidic. No, Caffeine is not acidic. It's an alkaline bromide. Caffeine is not acidic. There's nothing acidic about caffeine, coffee. Coffee is an alkaline bromide. Sometimes it can mix with certain digestive enzymes and become acidic. But these ideas, people come to my whole food cooking workshop and go, well, I eat whole grains all the time. This is whole grain bread. And I point out that they're dumb as shit, which I say. And I also say, well, there is more whole grain in that blouse you're wearing than there is in that. Now, what do I mean? And they'll go, and I'll say everything comes from a seed or a grain or something, but it's milled and processed. So a whole grain looks like a grain. Oh. So anyway, they always say coffee is so acidic, but it isn't. And nothing is acid or alkaline. It's just more acidic, more base. It can't be. The pH, we have a steady pH balance in our blood, and we have to maintain it or we go into coma or have seizures. That's just the way it is. And some things work to keep our blood more pure, and some things make it stickier. Back to liver qi. So what we want to do is we want to rest during those hours when we get less oxygen and honor the rhythm of life, and we'll just get healthier. And I know it works because I used to teach these workshops called Energy Medicine for Women, and they'd fill up. And it was Donna Eden's work, and she's just brilliant. She takes her work from all sorts of sources and Chinese medicine and kinesiology, and she's just she sees it. She's a good friend. Energy. And in this Energy Medicine for Women, this one woman came and she was really difficult. She'd been infertile for 15 years. And she said, I don't think anything's going to work. I said, okay, then whatever. But you can come and just learn a couple of protocols. And, she said, well, whatever. And she didn't show up for some of them. And I was teaching the 100-day cure. And what the 100-day cure is in old Chinese medicine, for 100 days, you rest for 20 minutes during the hours of 3 to 5. And it's to cure all ills. And I said, what have you got to lose? She said, I've tried everything. I said, well, then try this. And I don't want to hear about it anymore until you've tried it. She tried it. She has 2 children.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So it's walking. It's no sugar. It's from 3 to 5, 20 minutes.
And there's 2 more.
Oh, 2 more. Okay.
There's 2 more. We're not meant to suck off the tit of another animal, and that means we're not meant to have dairy products. We're not supposed to have dairy because cow's milk is meant to grow a 2-ton calf. And what it does is when we ingest it, it's meant to come out of our breast, not go into our body, and it creates thick, strands of mucus. Like this is kind of what I'm dealing with because I'm having half and half again. And I know it, and I know if I give it up, it goes away, but I don't want to. Because we're not supposed to have milk. There is no such thing as lactose intolerant. Everybody is 2 days after we're born. We do not have the enzymes to digest milk. Everybody's lactose intolerant. That's good. The retailer marketers did good. We're not supposed to have it. From a system standpoint, we are not supposed to ingest that milk of another species. Only our mother's milk.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And we're not even supposed to have too much plant-based milk, but it doesn't matter. So because it really goes into making breast tumors are almost always cheesy and gross and from too much dairy. Here's how I know. I'm getting ready to be gross, but I'm going to do it. I was in macrobiotic school, learning to be a macrobiotic counselor. I didn't finish. I only did one of the 3 3-month trainings because it's really big and you have to be able to diagnose cancers, which I kind of can do, but it's a big training. Well, there's a woman, and you learn to do all sorts of healing, natural healings for cancers. And she had a big breast tumor about that big, and she was from Wisconsin. Well, I already knew, she knew too that it was going to be because she had too much dairy as a child. Wow. So you make a plaster from taro potatoes. They're these really rough potatoes. You peel them and you make this plaster with flour and you put it on your breast every day. And during the month, it started to open. And the smell of rotten milk coming from that tumor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, it was cheese, and it eventually came out, and she's well.
Oh, good. Oh, thank God. But wow.
Well, of course, I wasn't going to tell you a bad story, but no, if she'd gotten it cut out, it just would have come back, and she didn't change her diet. So she changed her diet. The skin opened, the tumor came out. It was horrible. You couldn't be around her in the same room during this time. I mean, it took about 2 weeks for it to come. Ugh. You had to keep changing the plaster. But
Wow.
I started that because when I was 40 years old, there was a big tumor on my ovary. My grandmother had died of ovarian cancer when she was 40. And I was pretty sure intuitively that I had cancer, and so was the doctor. But I didn't let it get biopsied. I was very, very different then. I wouldn't even take an aspirin. I had a cesarean section. I wouldn't even take pain pills. I was really,
Wow.
really not do that again. I don't recommend it. I was stupid. That was stupid. It took a long time to get better. But anyway, so I was staying up in our country house in the Berkshire Mountains of Massachusetts near the Cushing Institute. We had a place in Manhattan, and I was taking care of my baby, but I was exhausted. There was something so wrong with me. And I met this woman down in a health food market, because it's very, hippy dippy up there. And it was wonderful. This is 1988. And I wasn't 40 then, but anyway, this was, I don't know what it was. I'm not that old, but the point is that I was sick. And this woman said, my husband had a brain tumor and we healed it through macrobiotics. I said, I want to learn it. She came to my home that night with all this cookware, and I started to cook macrobiotically. And with 6 weeks, I discharged that tumor vaginally. It got rid of it. Now, I wish I had collected it, but it went down the drain too fast. But the thing is, I healed. I was healed, and I've done it over and over with people. And it's just, the body doesn't want to have this stuff. It usually gets rid of it through somewhere where it can discharge it, through the anus or the breast or the penis or something. Right. It gets rid of it if you do it naturally. And it worked. And I stayed on this kind of wonderful regime for 5 years, and I've never known health like that. Wow. Ever.
That's something.
And I was happier than I've ever been. I mean, when you eat local seasonal foods and eat simply, 6 tastes at every meal, it's a lot of work, and I cooked my own foods, and I had my own garden, and I had my own root cellar, and I've never been happier. And it's a lot of work, but it was hard to change over to, we moved out west. We were living in Massachusetts and New York. We moved to Reno, Nevada. And that's like a throwback to 100 years to medieval times where people tease their hair and smoke cigarettes in restaurants. I couldn't keep it going. I couldn't. And I'm like, yeah, they're going to reelect Johnson or something, like I was so gross. So I had it broaden out a little bit. Now, the first time I even had a bite of something else, I had some of my husband's Caesar salad in a restaurant. I got a fever of 103 and a rash.
Oh,
yeah, so I had to go. I had to sort of start eating out. I mean, I was just that too pure. I was too clean. So I did. And I'm fine.
Wow.
It's a pretty. What?
Yeah, Catherine, we're gonna have to save that last one for next time, because we're out of time here. But
wow,
it goes quick. It goes quick. But Catherine, let me give you the last word, though. Anything you want to leave us with, and let us know how to get a hold of you, please.
Okay, southernfriedspirituality.com. Sorry, I was so yucky but I just want to say, walk 20 minutes, 30 minutes, rest 20 minutes. That's what the takeaway is. And next time we'll go over the energy medicine protocol. And sorry, I yak so much, but I really do have 4 things that are so much fun and easy to remember. And I do have them on my website, Southern Fried Spirituality, and in the YouTube videos.
Awesome. All right, guys. Hey, that's the one and only Katharine Manning. Love your show. Love your take on things. So refreshing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.